I am here to give you a pep talk. A pep talk I wish I would have had a few years ago. I lost a lot this year. More than I would have ever imagined. We all lose things. We all go through tremendous loss. Sometimes you have to lose everything to gain everything. There is no time in this world to live a life half lived. And sometimes you've got to let go of the things that you have been gripping onto so tightly in order to gain what you never could have imagined. And a lot of us, me included, a lot of us would never choose that. We would never be brave enough to choose letting go. Because when you're comfy and you're cozy and just dissatisfied, you will settle for that because there is no real reason to make changes. You don't see a big enough reason. It's only when sometimes some of us are forced into that position that we then look back and we're like, wow, that needed to happen. I needed to lose that, and I would have never done it on my own. And we get to this season of adulthood, and so many of us are afraid to loosen that grip because we think that we're finally living the lives that we were expected to, that we had dreamt of for ourselves. Except some of us realize that when you get there, it's not at all what you wanted. And that's a universal feeling. It's not just you. And the question is, how long are you going to live a half life? How long are you going to live feeling like you're slowly dying? I know that sounds dramatic, but I think a lot of us feel that way until we get a kick up the ass and something forces us to realize that change is needed to be made. Letting go is not easy. Letting go of that control of trying to control what people think of you. I've been there. Or letting go of that job that you feel like you always had to have because your parents told you so, or your peers, society. It was the job that you were like, yes, this is going to deem me acceptable and approved in this society, and I can feel good about myself for having this job. Except every single day you are miserable and you are wondering, what else? What else? Is this all there is? Why are we ignoring these feelings? Why are we okay with settling for these feelings? Well, because we have a little bit of security, right? We have comfort. It's cozy. And so maybe someday is what we say. And then in 5, 10, 20 years, someday has arrived and you're in the exact same position. As adults, it's so hard to let go because we have this immense pressure to have a certain image, to have it all together. When I was 14, I was like, I'll be married by the time I'm 24. I will have the job and the husband and the kid by the time I'm 30, and I'll have lots of money. I'll have lots of money, right? And then you reach adulthood, and somehow maybe some of us have tied it all together to have that image that we always thought we wanted. But when it arrives, why do we feel empty inside? I've been there, and it is now, I'm like, it's not worth it. These are the things we have to start thinking about, is what parts in our lives are really weighing us down. And I mean weighing like the heart, the soul, the mind. And for what? For an image? For not getting a lashing from society or from your friends who are not even paying your bills, who are not walking a day in your shoes, who don't get to judge. We need to change up the conversations. We don't even have conversations with our own friends or our own people about the dissatisfaction we feel, like that we truly feel, not just venting about something dumb, day after day, but the deep inner dissatisfaction. And then we kind of enable each other just to continue to live half lives. I am just such a cheerleader of anybody wanting to go against the grain and the norm and to step into the life that you are meant to have. And a lot of that involves letting go. 2 columns. 1, losses. The other, gains. For every loss, I can guarantee you can write a gain. There's something that you will gain from that loss. It's just a matter of, what are you willing to let go of? What are you brave enough to let go of? I used to binge eat to make myself feel better. A few years ago, I would go through phases of completely binge eating or starving myself to make up for the binge eating, because I felt this inner emptiness, like I just felt this emptiness inside. As a result, my mind wasn't fit, my body wasn't fit, I wasn't well, I wasn't showing up for myself in the way that I should, or for others. So, column A, let go of binge eating, let go of comfort food. Column B, gains, wellness, strength, feeling better than I ever have, able to make sound decisions and to show up for myself in strength and for others, because now I'm finally taking care of myself. Imagine that. Baby steps. And you know what, guys? Letting go is so liberating. We're really not meant to walk around with all this weight on our shoulders. And there are things absolutely worth holding on to. They align with our values. And then there are things that are completely just weighing us down every single day. And nobody can tell you what those things are but you. It's worth asking, why am I afraid to lose this thing? Is it because I'm afraid of the wrath of people who don't even really care about me? Or am I afraid of really hurting somebody? You know, if you're staying with somebody, for example, in a relationship, and I mention relationships because they're just such a big part of our lives, right? People who aren't in them think about being in them, and people who are in them struggle with, the relationship struggles. So you're hurting somebody more by not being honest with them. You're hurting somebody more by showing up as half yourself and dragging this thing on. Think about that. That is causing more hurt in the long run. So if you are not ending something or willing to have the conversation of, hey, how can we change things? Not end it, but how can we accept the death of the relationship that we thought we had and move into something healthier and better? Not doing the right thing, not showing up in authenticity to spare others. That's only killing you inside. It's only hurting you, it's hurting them. Letting go, it's not easy. It requires bravery, courage, a backbone, strength, integrity. Things that I cannot always say that I've had. Not until life kicked me in the ass. Is it worth it to you? Do you want to live a full life? A life of purpose and a life of fulfillment like you deserve? Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. The world owes you nothing. So, in order to gain beautiful, fulfilling, amazing things, it requires really hard work. And so many people, I think, are afraid of hard work. They're afraid of the work, afraid of going through hard things. They shrink from challenges. It's just holding them back in the long run. So we have to be willing to embrace the challenges. We have to be willing to embrace the hard things in order to gain the best things. Finally waking up with peace. Finally waking up with a sense of joy. Being able to do something that finally fulfills you. Figuring out what your why is. Figuring out why you want to get out of bed. And not why you have to get out of bed, why you want to get out of bed. That takes letting go, because something's got to give. You can't maintain everything that you've got, feel dissatisfied, and then try to gain something over here. That's just not how it works. You got to lose something to gain something. In a way, I am thankful that life kicked me in the ass this way, because I don't think I would have been brave enough to make changes myself. Even though I felt this gnawing, this disconnection with what was out here and what was in here. I was in a comfortable job and everything looked great on the outside. I've talked about this in previous videos. Everything looked perfect. So if everything's perfect on paper, why change anything? Forget about my well-being. Forget about my feelings. People just put their well-being and their feelings on the back burner. But you're hurting yourself and you're hurting others along the way. You just don't know it. So really, at the end of the day, it is selfish. And I've been there. What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to lose? If I could tell that girl from a few years ago and for my whole life up until that point, if I could tell her, girl, let go of the idea of the life that you thought you needed to have. Let go of the opinions of others and seeking validation. Let go of bending over backwards to get approval and love. Take a beat, get quiet and look within and start crafting the life that is going to make you feel fulfilled, that is going to fill you with purpose. That is what I would tell her. And I get it. We need jobs. We need financial security. So for those of you who are in positions where you are able to work, that is a blessing. But maybe use the additional time that you have to start crafting, start paving the way to the career that you really want, whatever that is. Sacrifice the next year of your life. And it's not even a sacrifice because of what you'll gain in the next 5 years. Sacrifice that year to get the life you want in 5, 10 years. If you got to go back to school, if you got to learn a new skill, take some classes, get a new certification. If you've got to let go of some dinners out and live really frugally so that you can gain whatever it is you need in order to step into that position, that career that you really want. Imagine where you can be in 5 years. If a genie came to you tomorrow and said, okay, you're going to have to let go of some of these things, but in 5 years, oh, you will get everything you ever wanted. You would do it. But we don't do it because there's no guarantee. But what we don't realize too is that we can be that guarantee. We can say, I am going to be successful no matter what happens. And maybe there will be some failures along the way, but I'm going to make a success of it. But we hold on to this idea, we hold on to mindsets and comfort and all the things because we think that those things are protecting us and keeping us safe, but it's a false sense of security because you're ready to crack at any minute. You're not going to die. I know it feels like we're going to die. It's this fight or flight thing of like, if I do this, if people say this, if I lose that person or that job, I will die. That's what survival instincts tell us, but you're not going to. You're going to be okay, and you're going to be more than okay if you learn the art of letting go and put on some armor, put on a helmet, go through life. It's not easy, but it is so worth it to achieve what you really want in the end. And I only get it because I've lived it and I've learned it the hard way, like the hardest way, the hardest. And I guess I'm just trying to spare anybody and trying to spare my younger self or any version of her, anyone who's walking around like her, from that. Well, that's it. Let go. You got this. Thanks for joining me for this pep talk today. If you liked what you heard, please do all the things, subscribe, and I will see you next week, friends.